One of the biggest obstacles most competitive Pokemon players will struggle with, whether you're new or experienced, is a stall team. The pure frustration of your setup sweepers getting shut down by Quagsire, pink blobs, and Toxapex swallowing the entirety of your team. But look no further. Today, I'll be showing you how to crush, obliterate, dismantle this playstyle effortlessly.
Do one last thing for me. If you never do anything else, destroy him!
What's up, guys? I'm here with part 2 of my OLT run, and in this one it's just going to be slaughter on top of slaughter, as we have our first victim here. So looking at it, I'm going to go over the team first, and as a side note, I'm going to be doing the stall games first, just to get these out the way, because they're actually not that long, and then I'll do the games with just regular teams after that. So let's proceed. Looking at my team, it looks just very Sun and Moon-ish, like it has a very old gen look to it. Like there's no Gen 8 mons on this, but anyway, it's built around Torn T. It's one of my favorite builds actually. This gen, I really like this team, even though it's like decently standard. Torn is just great versus pretty much any fat team right now, unless they have Zapdos. Plus Taunt is just pretty much free wins versus stall and things of that nature. Paired that with Scarf Cart to help the offense match up, because Taunt actually isn't that fast nowadays versus things like Dragapult, Tapu Koko, Weavile. So Scarf Cart usually can beat offense by itself. Outspeeds things like +2 Cloyster, Kingdra is banned, RIP, and then yeah, so really just solid offensive combination. Clef helps deal with the dragon types, such as the aforementioned Dragapult and Kyurem. More so of substitute specs. I'm not Spadell, so I don't take hits from that well. I don't have leftovers. Life Orb to help with the stall matchup. Rotom is very solid and underrated right now. Is my Heatran answer somewhat, and on one of the best Metal counters in the game. Solid water resist, things like that. Heatran helps as an actual fairy resist because Kartana has piss poor Spadef, so can be switching that into Moonblast. So yeah, Heatran is nice, helps with Clef, Tapu Lele, and this provides Stealth Rock as well, because I am not a defensive Landorus or anything like that. Choice Man provides Electric Immunity plus Breaker, so this band Landorus is just great. Played around with it a lot, and yeah, that's pretty much just the team. Just really nice bulky offense. Has a bit of trouble versus Urshifu Rapid. Doesn't have a straight up counter, you have to play around it, but that's just the cost of using a team like this. Great in most matchups, just is a few you're gonna struggle with, and other random things like Arctozote, but I'm not gonna prepare for an NU mon, so yeah, there's that. Just play around it. And then my opponent just has this team here, so basically how I wanted to win is just Calm-Mind Clef Sweep or an Torn. Torn just beats the entirety of his team. Blissey gets taunted, things like that. Clef Unaware is a bit annoying, but you can play around it with taunt. Knock the boots off, have rocks up, basic stuff. And Heatran as well. Just Stealth Rocks are just gonna stay up because Corv. That's like, if you're just looking at it, the reason why this team is so great versus stall, because it works extremely well in tandem together, which is how you're supposed to be stall. Like your team, just one stall breaker isn't enough. Like your team has to actually work well together. That's why I feel like this team just has 100-0 stall matchup between Taunt, Torn T, preventing defogs and healing. Calm-Mind Clef with stall power, ignoring Unaware, and Stealth Rock Heatran just suffocates Corviknight, like for obvious reasons. They can never defog on Heatran, so you just keep rocks up the entire game, and then pressure with your Volt turn between Rotom and Lando. So that's what I mean. You just gotta have that synergy, and then Yeah, like I said, trying to win with either Clef, Torn, Heatran can beat him as well once Gashion's dead. And Lando just unbandaged, so EQ just picks up KOs once Corviknight is dead. Just position versus zone pecks. Blissey just free kills every time. This guy is US East OG. I have no idea who this is. Yeah, so it's not gonna get into that. 1700s, so this game is gonna be higher quality. And yeah, let's get into it. So I lead with Heatran. This has the best lead matchup versus the majority. These are Clef, so lead GOAT. Free rocks turn 1, so it's gonna go straight for those. Goes hard, just got shit, which I'm fine with. I have pretty solid counter to this, and my Clefable, as like I said, I'm life 4, so I don't gain any recovery there. So just start calm minding up. I'm just trying to win turn 4. So click Scald. I'm like, if you don't have Clear Smog, I just win, but he does. Thing is though, Calm Mind has more PP than Clear Smog, so like if I bait the Clear Smogs and switch around them, I can actually just outstall and then eventually win that way. So he goes to Blissey, which never beats me because I'm burnt, so like he can't para luck me or anything like that. So it's actually better for me that Clef is burned. So he's teleporting, just switching around for some reason. I guess trying to outstall my Moonblast and Calm Minds and then go for the Clear Smog, but thing is, it's not really gonna work because eventually if I get enough boost, Gashion's just gonna get smashed. So I'm already at +2, so Gashion can't even switch back in, so I just go for another Calm Mind. As it goes back to the Blissey, I'm cool with that. I'm at +3, so at this point Gashion is not even a counter to me. Goes back to it. I'm assuming he's Fizz Def because he has a Blissey and Clef and Pex. I don't think you'd be Fizz Def Gashion's. I don't even know what that will counter in this type of team, but it just gets blown away anyway by +4 star power, I think that is. Just instantly dies. Crit barely mattered unless he was Spadef. So yeah, he goes to his own Clef. The only way to beat Clef this particular set on stall is by having Clefable with Calm Mind of her own with Unaware. Other than that, or Shedinja, and yeah, so other than that you don't beat it. So he goes to his own Clef and starts boosting. I have to get out of there because I actually don't beat him. So very easy play. I go to my Heatran on a Flamethrower. And he runs out of time. Game was over anyway. Torn at that point just won. Especially since he left over his Clef, so he's taking rocks plus Hurricane every time. Have you ever seen Stall get 6-0 with every Mon at 100%? Torn 100%. Kartana full. Clef full. Rotom full. Everybody's at full. So yeah, smash. And we'll be back with the next one. Alright guys, we're back with the second game. I believe I'm around 18-20 range at this point, so we're getting up there. And my opponent actually has a more weird take on stall. He has things like Xatu, Quagsire, Zapdos, which is actually a bit troubling because Torn, unless Zapdos is removed somehow, it can't break. So he's gonna have to get rid of that first. And then Heatran actually can't get rocks up easily because he has Xatu. So if he's like a Spadef set, he can actually just come in for free every time. So that's a bit awkward, but we're gonna find our way and just play around him a bit in the first couple of turns just to scout and see his sets. So I don't really know what Xatu does. So like I know it has magic bounce and stuff, but as far as like sets, it can be anything like Trick Scarf. So I'm not gonna throw Clef into that. I'm gonna play very carefully around his team first, and then try to go in later with Clef. It's pretty much the same game plan every time. There's these type of teams you should just tweak to the same things. So yeah, but my opponent has a weirder one, so it's gonna have to play wisely. So let's get into it. I lead with Landorus because it just felt like the best thing versus most, besides Corviknight. I can knock off Xatu, things like that. I just U-turn out because I know he's not gonna stay in. He has multiple answers. A position Heatran versus Corviknight, which is nice. I'll go for rocks just to see if he'd not be smart and stay in, or just go to Quag instead of going Xatu. Because I think Rammus don't do a lot, but evidently he's Spadef Xatu, so I think his rocks up is not much of an issue for me, because Boots Torn doesn't seem to have knockoff on anything beside Pex, and I'm not going to switch Torn into Pex. Magikarp Clef, I don't care about rocks too much, so yeah, just go for the rocks just in case. You just had to go Quag over Xatu, and I can still defog, so it's just fine. Card is not useful in this matchup, as you can see. So yes, sub Xatu, which is just very weird. Again, like I said, this is just a more odd type of team. So I'll go to Torn here, because until Zapdos is gone, it's not going to be doing much. He reveals to have Toxic, so I'm assuming sub Toxic Roost. Go back to Heatran, because now I know it's set. So I'm going to just kind of just stain on him in this Lava Plume Fish, because I don't have Magma Storm in this Lava Plume. So I don't really need a trap for anything, and my whole team beats Fat anyway. So just Lava Plume spam, just to break his sub. Go back to Lando here, just to force him out. Don't really want to stay in if I'm banded and just die. I believe I knock, yeah. There's a decent amount of Corviknight. Though damage on Corviknight was important, I need to remove Xatu so I can get my rocks up. And going with Clef as soon as possible. So I just full switch here, knowing Quag is never coming out. Even if it does, it's a easy switch to Clef, because it just walls Quag. A U-turn here, just a little bit of a U-turn, Volt-turn chain going on here. Back to Heatran, just to fire off Lava Plume. Potentially get a burn on Xatu, because I can't actually status it because of bounce. So just trying to burn Fish. And I think I Lava Plume again and get the burn finally, which is great. So he can't sub as freely because he's losing more health. Well, not losing health, but the leftovers are going to be negated by a burn. So I'm just start Calm Minding up, because at this one I'm just trying to go for the win. And here, Calm Mind is to bait Blissey first, see if he had T-Wave, because I don't want to get T-Wave, Para, locked it down. So just a scout for that. He goes for Heal Bell, which is fine. Back to Clef, because I don't think he would have T-Wave with Heal Bell. I feel like there's just too many slots gone. Likely Heal Bell, Soft Ball, Seismitoss, Stealth Rock, because you need rocks. So I don't think he has T-Wave at this point. So I was going, trying to go for game. Calm Mind again, Star Power just to gauge the damage on Pex. Does a lot. And the thing about Pex on Stall is that they don't run Haze most of the time. Because they have Unaware and things like that to back it up, so they don't really feel the need to be able to beat setup sweepers. So I know I can actually just sit on the Pex and set up on it anyway. So I don't exactly need my orb. Let's see, just loses to +6 store power regardless. He goes to Xatu as if this is a counter. I Calm Mind again as he roosts, and looks like it's pretty much over. Quag just never beats Clef unless it's like random curse. Calm Mind again, he Toxics just in case I'm unaware, but if I'm Life Orb, definitely not. So just break the Xatu sub multiple times as you're trying to outstall my moves, which makes sense because then Quag can actually play around a little bit. So can't even stay in because I'm just gonna kill him even if he decides to roost. So a Moonblast there, there's a shit ton to the core as Moonblast into Store Power just destroys him. Store Power to 70 to Quag again, like I said, because of the mechanics of Store Power. Unaware is just irrelevant. So he's actually attempting to stall out my Store Powers and Moonblast, which is smart. So it's gonna be a couple mind games here. I think I Moonblast once, because if he doesn't recover, then he's gonna die the next turn, even after Protect. Protects again. What I do here? I'll Calm Mind just to waste that, because once he runs out of Protects or recovers, he loses. So he's just gonna recover and Protect spam here. Which, how many Moonblasts do I have left? I have 10 of each. So he actually outstalled me quite a bit there, but seems to still be over because Blissey, even without the Life Orb, takes 90. Never ever seen a Blissey take 90 from a special attack, and that drops. So Rotom is a huge nuisance now. So that's great. He goes to Zap. He has pressure, right? Does he have pressure? Yeah, he has pressure on this one. So he stalls out another stored power, which doesn't even matter at this point because he lost so many mons to the point where he can't even come back. Cortana just actually clicks Leaf Blade and wins too because all his grass is just dead, which is very hilarious. And Yeah, go for Moonblast, get a crit. Does not matter. I win the game anyway. So he protects this to stall me out of another move. Though I have more than enough to beat both Pex and Xatu. Like, he can't roost or he can't sub because he's at 25%. So star power again, knock out the Quag, and that's the game. 60 turns, but just went through it super quickly because, like I said, it's not gonna be that long. So 1845, and we're moving on up. So let's get on to the next. So our next opponent is Spooky, who I've actually ran into about 6 or 7 times, and every time I did, he was running up with some stalls. So yeah, I believe he played for Team Canada, if I remember correctly, World Cup. Speaking of World Cup, I brought the team just to see if it will work. I doubt it because of the way ladder is or was at the time. But Reuniclus is great versus stall, so I said why not. Yeah, so I already did a rundown of this team, so I'm not gonna do that again. But just looking at his Skarm is decent because Iron Defense pretty much beats Corviknight, and then he's pretty spike weak with like Pex and Hippo. So that's decent. Blissey is pretty hard to kill. Does well versus Kyurem. Ment not doing anything in this one at all. Doesn't even beat Hippo. It's just Toxics. Reuni-king is great if I can remove Blissey, and Tonk Coco is decent, but between Blissey and Hippo, it's pretty difficult to do anything with that. So I could just really lead Coco and just U-turn into Reuniclus and win turn 1, which I actually wanted to do, but yeah, let's hop right into this one. So yeah, I did leave with Coco. Forgot. Anyway, these are Kyurem, because it actually does over the majority of my team. But the thing is, if I'm Specs, you don't really want to stand and potentially die. Though I don't think bulky Kyurem dies to Specs Gleam. So it's a pretty simple game. Just as soon as Reuniclus comes in, it should just be able to beat everybody. So go to Blissey, just get on my rocks as he defogs. Just toss for a little bit of chip to gauge what his item is. Pull a switch out to Coco, I believe. Yeah, as he goes to the press. I'm leftovers, so I'll get a bit of health back there. I believe I U-turn. No reason not to, right? Yeah, U-turn. Just a little drawback. Go to Reuniclus, and the game is done. So get my Electric Seed, and I'll start Calm Minding up. Again, unless he's Calm Mind Clef, he's not winning the 1v1. So apparently he isn't, because he just goes for Moonblast. And yeah, Calm Mind, Moonblast, and the game is done. So Star Power, I believe, yeah, Clef is dead. Goes to Kyurem, doesn't even try to sub stall. I don't think he could have. I still had enough Star Powers left, and the game is done. So there's that. And we'll be back. Like I said, same guy, different team. In this one, Torn is excellent. Just pretty much wins. Clef is the only issue. Again, just need to play smarter on that. Cart can actually do something in a late game if I move Corviknight, because he's pretty Leaf Blade weak, and Smart Strike, so that's great. Clef just wins. Like, I can just leave with it and Calm Mind. There's nothing you can do. Rotom doesn't really do much. Like, it's nice versus Core Hippo. It's just pretty difficult to kill, but it's not beating Blissey and Clef. Though Pain Split is very annoying for them. Blissey has so much HP, Heat Ran, he's never getting rocks off, and Landorus is great too, because Explosion actually OKOs a pot on, which is just insane. So again, not much of real game plan needed, just trying to win Clef, Torn, or Lando late game. So let's get into it. I leave with, what I leave here? Hearing, I always leave Hearing versus Stall. There's nothing they can do, or OKO with anything beside a ground type. So let's get around rocks up ASAP. I don't really care about leftovers. I'm not really beating Clef anyway when it's paired with Pex and all this stuff. And I doubt he's Calm Mind anyway. So Rotom gets knocked again. It's the least important member. Here I go Lando. Did he knock again? He triple knocked. Just crazy play. Doesn't even recover, which I actually think is a misplay, because you need Pex healthy, things like card if Corviknight gets slow. But whatever, I'll take that. He goes to Corv on Lando because he like can't stay in, and nothing else can take an Earthquake that well beside Hippo. But I'm Soft Sand, he gets to a kill because all Hippowdons run Spadef. And I make a really solid play and go to Clef with the T-Spike up. I'm actually not sure why he went for T-Spikes. It only affects one thing. Like, it actually hurts him more than helps, because if he had like T-Wave Blissey, I'd at least had a chance, which is really the only way to beat Clef. I've mentioned that multiple times now, but now that Clef is poisoned, it gets just free switching forever on Blissey. So amazing for me as it goes to Hippo. This is not a counter, so I'm just gonna Calm Mind. Calm Mind again, he rocks. Calm Mind again, goes to Blissey. Can't beat me, and he just tosses me down, and I just get all my health back anyway. So Calm Mind again, and Soft Boiled, and then that Blissey just took 60% from a Moonblast, because I still have my Life Orb and all these things. It goes to Clef at the Star Power to 60. And the special attack drop does not matter because everything dies at Star Power regardless. So yeah, because that game's over. And then this is, I was like 1883. So right around the corner from 1900s, and he dropped quite a couple points. So next one will be so same teams. Not gonna explain anything. This was 2000s range, so pretty much around top 20 on the ladder at this point. So we're moving up very, very quickly, and let's just hop straight into it. So I leave Orlando this time. I believe I'll just go straight for the EQ because I'm not trying to play any games, because like I said, people like to stay in thinking they live every super effective hit, and then the Kyurem takes 70%. So thing is, I don't actually want to stay in, because even though I've seen like Kyurems on these teams run like no speed or just goofy stuff like min speed, like slower than Lando for some reason, but if he happened to change the spread, I don't want to just stay in and die, because Lando is very important, because once Corv is dead, EQ just kills something every time it comes in. So I don't want to just stay in here. So I actually pull the double out to Heatran. It covers the Freeze Dry, Roost, and the Corviknight. I'm just way too nice. Jesus. Because basically if he roosted, I'll be able to get up rocks afterwards, because Earth Power from non-Specs Kyurem never kills Spadef. And if he Freeze Dried, he'd have to roost the following turn, or else he just dies to everything and have to get free rocks. So just covers all options. So rocks are up. There it is. It goes to Hippo there on the Tran. Let's go to Clef. I'm trying to win. Same thing as last time. Goes to Corv. He's smart about it and goes for the Iron Defense to try and keep me low. Because even though I'm Fizz Def Clef, +6 body press still does a ton, around 40% consistently. So as you can see, it goes for the press. Not a lot. I can just recover that off. This is way less than what Soft Boiled recovers. Goes to press again, a Boiled just to get a better health back, so I'm not dying to Clef Moonblast, things like that. I go for Star Power, and he says, man what?
He was like, man. I said, man what?
Just don't pull up with this. I keep telling him that. Once again, it's another 6-0, very easy. Everything is at full, and next, I believe it's 2 left, so we're gonna hop straight into those. Alright guys, I'm not even gonna lie, I think at this point I lost count of how many games this has been so far, so at this point not even gonna try. But let's just get into this one. So I'm actually using a different team this time, just to show that it's just not a one-dimensional way to be stalled. There's very many ways to do it with different mods. So this team is pretty cool. It's based around Calm Mind Lele, just a pretty nice bulky offense. My buddy Ant actually beat me multiple times with this set, just during testing the World Cup, so I was like, I gotta steal that. And then it's Calm Mind with Drainicus substitute. This set is just really funny versus things like Dragon Dance Shagapult, because they don't run Infiltrator, so we just serve as a Phantom Force, and then you just Drainicus all the health back, and then you just pretty much win from there, which has actually happened multiple times using this team. So paired that with Pharaoh Spikes helps wear down the Steel types, because I don't have Focus Blast, so I don't deal well with them. So I need a different way to wear them down throughout the game. Chomp there to help with Kartana, Melmetal, Heatran, because Mantine is not the best Heatran answer because it doesn't have the greatest special attack stats, so Scald doesn't do anything. Making it Toxic, Taunt. Chomp is just nice. House of Bisharp as well. Mantine is pretty solid right now, actually. Helps versus Rain. Like, they literally can't do anything. Barraskewda has to predict, can't ever flip turn. So they have to double. You can take full advantage of that. Volcanion has actually seen increased use during OLT because it just destroys the standard bulky offense styles with Lando, Tran, especially on the Rain. It's like damn near uncounterable. So Mantine just comes in on that forever. And it beats Volcarona too, so it beats both the Volks. Fast defaulters. Mantine is pretty difficult to put on a team because this has very just very awkward, but it checks things like Urshifu and things like that, so it's just nice unless they have Thunder Punch. Bandit Weavile, which is one of my favorite sets because it hits so hard. Things like Urshifu get to a kill, for example, by Bandit Adamant Triple Axles, so it's just ridiculous power. Most people just mindlessly run Boots because it's just the easiest, but not mindlessly because it's just a good set, but Bandit, if you know how to maneuver it well, can just beat a lot of teams by itself because it just hits super hard. Adamant because I deal well with Torn between Tapu Koko and Mantine. I have solid enough speed control for that, and Bandit Ice Shard just does a lot to it. And just Ghost Resist, things like that. Tapu Koko provides a Flying Resist and an answer for Hawlucha. And yeah, just very solid. So looking at it, my opponent is Starreal. I've seen this person a couple of times. Yeah, just same team. Just going about it a different way. So I Calm Mind Lele just sweeps him. Because Corviknight typically don't run Iron Head. Brave Bird is the only other issue. And even then, if he's low, you won't be able to go hard to it. So I can beat him. And yeah, it's just fantastic. Sets up versus Pex, Kyurem, because they're on Specs and Clef. So yeah, it's pretty much how I'm trying to win. Pharaoh's like unkillable. Nothing can beat it outside Heatwave Kyurem or Flamethrower Clef. Not Heatwave Kyurem, Heatwave Torn. Spikes are nice versus Hippo Pex. Hippo unless it's Boots. Chomp is useless, doesn't do anything. It's always going to get defogged on by Corvs, so it's going to play it pretty recklessly. You have a Fire Blast actually over Flamethrower. Just does a lot more damage to Ferrothorn, which is very important to open up Lele and Coco. Mantine is not going to be doing much besides defogging on Hippo. And so much I can Torn if I don't want to go hard Coco. Weavile's decent if I can remove Pex. Guess it's only Ice Resist, so once that's gone I just click Triple Axle and collect my kills. And Coco is very weak to that outside Hippowdon. Very weak to T-Bolt, so let's hop straight into the game. Trying to win with Lele and Coco combination with Spikes, so it's pretty much it. So leave with Coco, right? Yeah, leave with Coco is leave with Pex. Doesn't want to stay in case I am Specs, like I just kill him in one. He's smarter than the last guy and switches hard into Hippo. As I pull the switch out to Chomp, again just trying to get my rocks up. Actually Toxic first in case he wanted to Toxic my no, he wouldn't Toxic, he'd go for something like Stealth Rock there. Cause this covers all bases. Like Toxic losing momentum versus Pharaoh, going hard to that. There are no reason to switch because Chomp is not useful, so go straight for the Toxic. Yeah, in case you wanted to stay in. And rocks first. Go for the rocks into Blast on Core just to see what the damage is. It doesn't do much, so he's pretty much just gonna be able to beat me as I cannot touch this. So Iron Defenses a couple times to make sure I just switch. Here I go to Mantine. I double out to Chomp knowing that Pex or Clef is coming and not Kyurem. No reason to allow that to get burned. It's pretty solid versus me, as like I said, Tom's not doing much, and I have the solid positioning versus Pex to get my rocks up in case he doesn't go to hardcore for whatever reason, but he has no reason not to, but he does, and I'm able to get my rocks up, which is great. So I go to Pharaoh here on the Pex. What do I do here? Oh, he knocks. Then I believe I knock the core coming in. Yeah, knock his helmet, which is not that great because Weavile is not gonna beat X, which should be his initial switch, so that's not too important actually. But it's nice regardless. Spike into lead seed into Spike. Can't really stain on Pharaoh. He's just taking too much chip every turn. He roosts and defogs, just keep getting enough spikes. The great thing about Hazard Stack versus Stall is that Corviknight can eventually only beat one because he doesn't have enough defogs to beat both Stealth Rock and Spikes, so he has to choose one that he wants to keep up once that situation arises. So I'm able to get away with a Spike, which is nice, as he doubles out to the Curum. Go to Weavile because it's just the best thing to go to. I'm able to just knock the Clefable on switching. That's 30. I'm able to knock his boots off, which is nice. So I think he's getting knocked. There's just another way to beat this. Just play the chip game, and then knock boots off so that they take hazards, not your rocky helmets, so your physical attackers aren't getting punished every time, so that you can outlast them. As long as your team can also play the long game, you should be good. So I go to Pharaoh here on the Clef. He's unaware, so I'm able to just lead seed. He has no good grass resist, which is usually the case. I'll go to Coco, put in a double out to that, as it covers the potential heat wave and the Corviknight switch to try and defog. So just great positioning all around. As I just go for T-Bolt again. People expect you to want to predict. At this point, I have so much momentum, and you're probably expecting me to win a U-turn there to keep that up versus Hippo. So at that point, he'd been in a pretty bad spot because I'm able to go to Weavile and potentially double out to Lele. He's pretty poor sequence you don't want to get into. So actually stays in, predicting me to win a U-turn. I'm guessing it's the only reason to do that. So his main defogger is gone, so Chomp actually gets rocks up, and they're gonna stay up because I can just Toxic Torn, which is his only other defog option. But if he's not, I don't think he should win that. Should be Nasty Pot, because otherwise you have no way to win versus other stalls. So anyway, he goes to Hippo here. He's so far in the back, so I know that he wants the momentum, so I shut that down completely. Go for the taunt. Pretty aggressive, but like I know you have to go for it. No way you EQ into Mantine, just loses way too much momentum. So I'm able to taunt into U-turn, so his Hippo is getting very chipped along with that Spike. Reason I didn't predict versus Corv is, again, I was in a position of power. Even if the Corv switched out into Hippo, like he's taking spikes plus U-turn after that, and I can still taunt, so I don't need to predict in that situation. It's also just throwing situations where you need to and don't need to predict, but that's a different topic for a different day. I can go to my Mantine on the Hippo free of charge because he's taunted and they don't run Stone Edge. Even if he did, I should be able to roost it off because I'm Fizz Def, so it won't do anything. I scalded the Torn multiple times. Don't really want to go hard Coco. He has I guess he has like a random sludge wave, which he could be. So let's go for Scald. Hurricane. That's why Hurricane is a really bad move. This is just very low odds to hit 2 in a row, and I knew that. That's why I stayed in. And even then, I don't even need Mantine anymore. It did its job. Like Scald did the Torn down. Yeah, like I don't need it to defog because Weavile I don't think is gonna win anyway with Pex not being dead yet, and I can beat his team with Lele at this point. Corviknight gone, which wouldn't beat me anyway because they didn't have any type of stab to hit me with. So go for the Scald there, knock out the Torn, which is nice but not too important because it wasn't even defog. So I'll go hard to Lele going on the offensive versus the Curum. And I get to Calm Mind up because these sets are pretty weak and they don't run any stronger moves like Ice Beam. So I'm able to just Calm Mind into Journey Kiss, get all my health back. It goes to Clef, which doesn't matter, as you guys are going to see, because I have the legendary stored power. So I'll go for that, and it takes 60, so he doesn't beat me. Boom Blast still does a lot because he ignores my boost, but stored power again, and at this point, Hippo is dead. If you let that take a hit, he just loses to Coco, so he can't even go into that and try to take a hit. So Freeze Dries does nothing. Now Draining Kiss in return, go all the way from 26 to 95%. Give me all of that health, and then Akiram's dead and the game is over. So yeah, I say GG very sarcastically because they gotta stop pulling up with this. And this was 1886. I showed this last because I wanted to show the other three all at once because it was the same person. So yeah, there's that one, and we're gonna have the last one, I think. Alright guys, this is the last stall games. I know it's been a journey, but we finally made it to the end, and after this we're gonna go to the regular games. So backstory behind this one, this battle actually happened on the 8th day of the cycle. So I woke up at around 1:40 p.m. I know, terrible, but I was actually laddering the morning, a couple hours before that, so morning, same thing. Then I woke up again just to try and get some last games in to try and qualify. So I reached this point. This battle happened around like 2:40-ish, so it's 20 minutes from the deadline because it was deadline is 3 p.m. So we're just trying to get as many games as possible. Then I ran into this person. I think his name is Don Salvador or something. That's what that stands for. And yeah, again, same team, and I switched it up again because I feel like this team is just very reliable, especially at this beating stall, which you'll see very high up during OLT time. So just a tip there, if you guys ever decide to ladder for OLT, whether it be next year, just know that people will use this, so be prepared. And yeah, this was extremely high. Like, I think at this point, like top 10. This guy was 2055. I think I was 2013 at this point, so probably the highest I've ever been on ladder. It's funny because I hate laddering, but yeah, there's that. Yeah, so breaking it down, like I said, Torn plus Clef. I can just win though if he's CM Clef. I'm going to play around it a little bit, though Toxic Tran always beats that, even if he has Heal Bell, because Toxic has more PP than Heal Bell. So yeah, Rotom's pretty annoying regardless of Kiram. Got T-Wave. This was actually the final version of the team. I just fixed it a lot to give it more reliability and just bulk. In general, what I mean by reliability is I had a lot of inaccurate moves. I had Hurricane on Torn, which I think Hurricane on Nasty Block Torn is complete garbage and makes no sense. Running Hurricane plus Focus Blast is just playing Russian Roulette. I'm not doing that. I actually had Hurricane before, just because, just standard set. Then I eventually changed it once I came to my senses. I was like, I'm not trying to miss. Just ran Air Slash because it still has a chance to flinch, and it's extremely low chance to miss, like 5%. And I don't think I've ever missed Air Slash ever since I've changed to that. And it's running a lot of games, just being able to flinch stuff and being able to guaranteed hit basically. So running Air Slash, like, thing about Hurricane is like you usually run Hurricane alongside other very inaccurate moves. Like you have to run Focus Blast or else you can't beat Heat Ran. Hurricane plus Heat Wave is just pretty shit. Like you don't really want to run that. So I think you need Focus Blast at least. Like it's just one of those moves you have to run. But Air Slash just over Hurricane I think is always better on Nasty Block Torn. Hurricane on defensive set is fine, because the thing about running Hurricane on Torn is that if you miss, especially on an offensive set, like you're gonna die in return most of the time. Like imagine missing versus a +2 Rillaboom or a +2 Cards, because both your moves are 70% accurate, so like you always have a chance to miss versus Kartana, and then you just die in return and you just lose. Like if I miss versus Rillaboom with this team, I just lose the game because Cart can't kill it, Heat Ran's outsped, Lando dies to +2 Glide because I'm offensive. So like yeah, there's like, that's what I'm talking about. Like being good at Mons is not just about outplaying your opponent and building good teams. It's knowing how to play in general. It's also about managing odds and knowing that if you risk them, like, you're likely gonna lose some games because you decided to use 70% accurate moves, which is why I don't like using things like Hydro Pump, Thunder, things like that. I hate those moves. So running Air Slash for that reason. No pretty long explanation, but just had to get that out there. Other things that I switch, I put this Rotom's pretty funny. It's TOA plus Custap. I was originally Rocky Helmet, but it's pretty greedy set. Like, it's solid versus things like Urshifu because they take a ton of chip and Mono Metal. But eventually I was like, I need something to help with Rain, because Rain can usually just overwhelm Rotom. It says very low HP, good defenses, but just HP is not the greatest. So when it Custap over Rocky Helmet, just to have a bit of more surprise factor, that's also what I wanted on this team. Even though I have banned Landers, just a bit more on there, if that makes sense. And T-Wave just helps slow down things like Tapu Lele, which opens up Landers T, because if they're timid, they always outspeed, even if they're modest, because I'm adamant I'm not Jolly. There's no reason to really run Jolly on a banned Landers. Doesn't outspeed anything. Even with adamant, you still outspeed, like Timid Heat Channels doesn't exist. Yeah, T-Wave with a bit of Spadef, so you guarantee live Lele's Spec Psychic. I think even modest, I think. And the other thing I put is Explosion over Stone Edge on Landers. I don't think Stone Edge is that great on Bandit. You don't really want to lock into that on this set in particular. If you miss versus Zapdos, it just sucks. And Torn doesn't even kill Torn because they all run bulk. They knock you off, then they live. An Explosion just ridiculous. Like I said, Oko's about on it. Oko's things like Zapdos and Pelipper in one hit without risking the miss. Breaks Buzzwole in half so that you open up Kartana late game potentially. Just a whole slew of things that Explosion is good versus if you just look at the tier. And yeah, so let's just get right into this one again. Just trying to win with either Torn or Clef. And then yeah, so let's hop right into it. Whoops. Classic music is on. So yeah, my opponent leads with Kyurem as I lead with Heatran because this has great lead matchup versus everything. Can't be killed, like I said, by anything beside the Powdon. Pretty savage. Just go for the rocks straight up because I know Earth Power never kills. And Flowering Turn, I just outplay him and I go for the Lava Plume, knowing that he probably predict Clef, but Frieza doesn't do anything to Clef anyway, and I don't want him having a sub up. There's no real reason to switch into Clef there and risk the freeze too, so yeah, there's that. I think Lava Plume thaws, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. Now I'll go to Clef, knowing that he either sub or Earth Power that turn, because I've been playing, yeah, just with no regard for the Kyurem at all. So I start Calm Minding up because I'm trying to win as usual. He goes to his Clef, so he's Calm Mind, so that's an issue. So I'm like, okay, I gotta play this a bit more patiently and differently now. Go to my Heatran. A situation with Heatran versus Clef is interesting because they can actually never hit Heatran with anything besides Thunder, which won't do anything. And you can Toxic back and just outstall, really. And they don't run Thunder in these type of teams, no reason to, really. So Earth Power is always free versus Clef. Very little drawback because there's nothing you can do beside Moonblast, which will do quite literally 2% after leftovers, and then yeah, I just beat him. So Earth Power is just no risk. Like if he goes to Pex, I get a lot of damage off. No real reason to waste Lava Plumes, because having those are nice versus Corvs, just in case of like a pressure stall type of situation comes up. So yeah, just go Earth Power is free. I mean, Torn doesn't really make sense to go to that on a Magma Storm. If he's offensive, he dies. If he doesn't have U-turn, he dies as well. So yeah, there's that. Go to Lando there as he doubles out to the Hippo. Just covers all options. I guess not wanting to risk a Earth Power crit. I don't think Earth Power crit killed. Oh no, he's at 52. Yeah, probably did. But double Lando covers everything. Covers the recover or a T-Spike or something like that. Though it doesn't really make sense to go with T-Spike because his team is all like immune to it. And Spikes doesn't do anything either. Only affects Heatran and Cart. So double Landorus is great because it covers for Hippo as well. Because it's pretty solid like play all around. Because there's no way I Toxic there on the Pex as it recovers as it knocks out. That just doesn't make any sense. So Hippo made a lot of sense there. As I explode, boom, knock out the Hippo. This Hippo body parts flying everywhere, all on the battlefield. And that's great because for two reasons. One, I prevent rocks, so Torn, I can just switch that in all day to Pex if he has knockoff and not care about my boots being gone, because he doesn't have rocks, right? So, and two, he doesn't have an electric immunity any longer, so Rotom can just Volt Switch, because Hippo can actually pivot into Rotom because they run Spadef, so Hydro Pump doesn't do anything. They're like 50, but they can Toxic, things like that, and play around a bit, or Toxic on Switch, then just spam Slack off because Hydro is not doing much, then they can go to Clef and Heal Bell, so just prevent all of that from happening in the future turns and just knock out the Hippo in one go. So Hippo is dead, so don't have to worry about rocks. So I can just switch freely between all my mons, which is great. It goes to cure him on the double down as I go to Torn. I can't kill him in one hit, and there's no reason to Focus Blast or Nasty Plot, because if he's Spadef cure him, which they tend to run, he can actually live. So I don't know what his spread is. I'm not gonna stay in there. This makes sense, not optimal to do so. I go to Clef on the double freeze dries, hoping to not get frozen. Can actually that's an out for him. He can actually try and freeze Clef and just try to beat me that way, because this is one of my ways to win. So doesn't get it as he goes to Pex. Like I said, they don't run Haze, so it's just another Calm Mind for me. Goes to Clef there as I Moonblast, just to see what the damage is and to potentially get a drop, and to keep him low so that next time he's not as comfortable switching in, so that, because I know he wouldn't heal if I went for the Moonblast first, because it doesn't do much. So +1 Clef, 20%, he's not going to want to Soul Bow. So just, you know, hit him a bit, hit him with a little jab, just so that I know he doesn't recover, so that the next time Clef is in, it's harder for him to switch in, if that makes sense. So I'll go to Heat Rain there. It's always free versus Clef. As it's Earth Power again, no drawback. If he goes to Pex, it'll do a lot. And he's forced to either heal or double out into Kyurem. This Kyurem can actually handle Heat Rain with investment on it. I don't have Magma Storm, so he's not getting chipped that much. I go to Clef there on the Freeze Dry. Soft Ball it up just to stay at full and not risk rolls, so that I can switch in later on. Calm Mind's there. Moonblast. I don't really need my Moonblast. All I really need is Star Power to beat the entirety of his team. So yeah. I finally go for Toxic, revealing that. Just kept that hidden for a while just to lure him in a false sense of security. Just make him think I don't have it. But yeah, I'll show it there just in case he decides to get greedy. Goes for Knock on my Rotom. I'm assuming at this point he's Shed Showed, which they all should be on stall just for Heat Rain. I don't think Hippos, well, it is enough. She played well, but yeah. I go for T-Wave just to get a bit of, you know, paras if I need it, so that this Pex, you know, can move. And in combination with Air Slash from Torn, I can actually Paraflinch, so that's really nice there to keep in mind. I'll go from here. I go from Cart to Core, because I know that he's not gonna risk a Leaf Blade crit knocking him out, because then he just loses to Torn after that, and Heat Ran. So there's no reason to risk. And my Scarf is not too important outside Torn, which I'd rather not be Scarf locked into Smart Strike, or rather be able to switch up moves versus Pex and Clef. So yeah, I go for Taunt into Taunt. Did I prevent? Oh no, I taunted upon switching. I didn't prevent anything, but he can't haze me or Toxic or anything like that. So he knocks my boots, which is completely irrelevant. As I just Air Slash, you know, reliability, and Focus Blast there to knock out the core. Pivots really well around the Torn, knowing that he dies to any +2 coverage move. He pivots to Clef as he's unaware, so he can eat up anything, and Air Slash won't do much. So it's pretty safe switch all around. So this guy's playing his team well. I could tell he's used this a lot, so he knows what he's doing, but it's not going to be enough. As I pull the switch out to Heat Ran, don't want to risk dying to Moonblast. Seems like it's a roll, like no reason to risk Torn there when it wins. So let's go to Heat Ran and Toxic the Clef as it lets me do that. Like I said, if he has Heal Ball, it doesn't matter because Toxic has way more PP. Only way to beat Toxic is by switching around it with Pex and just wasting the power points. But Go to Torn there to get more regen back. Switch back to Heatran. Now my Torn is at 100%, which is great. Back to Torn, knowing that Pex is likely coming out because I beat him 100%. Unless he has Scald, which would be pretty annoying, but I can deal with that. He goes to Toxic as I taunt him. Forgot to mention he healed Bell the thing away before the para. Go for Air Slash there, and I don't miss because it's the greatest move of all time. And Air Slash again. I do 30% to the Clef, and if I get a flinch, Clef is dead, or if he doesn't heal. So go for Air Slash again. I know he'd Moonblast because I've shown Taunt, so pretty obvious as Air Slash again. So Torn is just guaranteed getting a kill, so he has to give me something. Gives me Pex, so now Heatran can just click Lava Plume. I think I've only clicked Lava Plume twice. I forgot versus what. I think it was versus Kyurem to break this up. Oh yeah, I only clicked it once because of pressure, so that's why I'm at 22. I go to Rotom here. It's the best play, no reason to risk. Heatran on a Focus Blast upon switch. Go for the T-Wave, I think, to catch the Kyurem. This means that you can't actually sub-stall my Clef, which is great for me. So T-Wave into Volt Switch on the Kyurem. So T-Wave is doing me well right now as the Kyurem gets para, so he doesn't even get the chance to Roost or even freeze me. So go for Calm Mind here, which is actually a misplay. I didn't think he'd go hard to Clef, because if I Moonblast, he'd just lost the game. Because after that, I just Moonblast spam versus Torn. I think Heatran always lives a +2 hit because I don't think they run max special attack. Even then, I have a lot of split Fs, so like Focus Blast, I don't think he even kills in one. So Calm Mind here was actually not the greatest. I should have just Moonblasted. It's pretty obvious, but not obvious at the same time. But as you can see, Moonblast would have just killed him. I used to have a bit of speed on this Clef just to outspeed other Clefs, but I took it off, which actually hurts me here, but it's whatever. I can still win. It's just gonna take longer as I just Moonblast spam just to waste his recovery, because if I can waste his Soft Balls, then my Clef can still beat him regardless of him having Calm Mind. So that's what I'm going for. Just setting up for the long term. Completely, that's not relevant to the battle, but I think like 50 people joined, which is pretty crazy. I wasn't paying attention to that because I don't really care about that. I just play my own game. But yeah, so I'll go to my Heatran as I shown to have Toxic as he also carry him. Again, obvious, I'm not going to risk Lava Plume burning, then I can actually lose to the Clef. Oh, no, I can't, because I have Kartana too with Smart Strike. So you guys really poorly against that actually at this point, because Corviknight is really low. Goes into Plot. This again, so I do not run Hurricane. This move will always miss when you need it to hit or when you're relying on it. So yeah, let's go for Moonblast. At this point, I can just risk Clef because I can heal on Corviknight and Kyurem even after I take the +2 Hurricane, because I don't die to that. So let's Corvin Roost. Doesn't matter because I can just Calm Mind on this because they never run Iron Head. So I can just keep Calm Minding. He goes to Clef. Solid play. If I Moonblast it upon switch, he was 2 KO'd, I think. So though he gets me there. So maybe just Calm Mind again. I think I store power just to again waste his softball. He's at 5 now. So eventually Clef is still gonna beat his Clef. It goes to Heal Bell. I think that was a waste of a Heal Bell, maybe. Nah, actually no, because he needs the speed on Kyurem, because without that, that's gonna be difficult for him to like freeze Frisch. So just being paired is just bad for him. So it's actually a solid play on his end as a Toxic upon switch. Not really upon switch, like nothing can come in on that. Plus Lava Plume, because Scorp just dies. Gets the freeze which blows. So now my Clef can actually lose to this Kyurem finally. But he Roost, just giving me another chance to thaw, which I don't agree with. Should have just killed me because now I have a chance. I think I thaw the next following turn. Do I? Actually stay in. Oh yeah. I thaw here. I'm Moonblast, Torn, and at this point I just thaw Rotom because not useful versus a Kyurem Clef. So store it out. And I know that I outspeed him. Just didn't really run max speed. Like, it's just a matter of knowing the spreads too. Like, I know that they typically don't run max. They run a bit of bulk on these. It's not like any other play. Like I can could go to Heatran and risk Focus Blast. I don't think I died, but I didn't want to take that hit. So and then have Kyurem being able to guarantee kill me with air power. So let's go to Torn. It's the least risky of the two plays, as I just click air slash and able to get regen back. So I chip the Clef and go to Heat Rain there. Double out to Cart, knowing that he either soft boiled or go to Curum. No way you double Moon Blast there. So yeah, really solid positioning here, as I pretty much get a guaranteed kill. Torn can't come in because it's extremely low, so you don't even want to risk that on a Sacred Sword. That's just way too risky. Corv is the only thing you can go into that can take 2 Smart Strikes. Take Smart Strike plus Sacred Sword at the rocks. And I know that, so I actually make a pretty aggressive play in Sacred Sword, because I'm actually falling behind a little bit. Sorry about that. As a Sacred Sword again, I take 2 rounds of Helmet, which doesn't matter too much. I think I still loot Moonblast from here, so I get a Beast Boost, which is nice. As it goes to Torn, I believe I switch out to my Torn because I live Hurricane. Really confuses me, which is really annoying, but knew he wouldn't Focus Blast. Well, he could have. I think he would have killed me from there, but at this point I'm not even sure if he has it, just based on how he's playing the Torn. Lava Plume, Clef, as I pull the hard switch out to Cart, at this point I'm putting him in checkmate spots. Like every time Cart comes in, he has to pick something to throw out. There's no steer resist at this point, and Cart like actually is pulling through. When he had a Corv in the Pex, Scarf Cart is doing it. So if I had my Scarf, the game was just over because Torn would just be outsped and die. So yeah, go for Smart Strike, no switch-ins. As I'm able to, I think I stay in, because at this point Heat Rain wins the game, bar any Focus Blast, crit, or anything. Like I said, I think I live for sure. So go to Smart Strike, he misses. Again, I don't think that mattered too much though, because Lava Plume into Lava Plume kills Torn, and Toxic just beats Clef because I get leftovers back, and he has very little soft balls left. So the game was just done regardless, and I had taunt too. So yeah, he misses Hurricane again. Just I don't run that move, and my card is just getting all kinds of boost.
All kinds of gains. All kinds.
And Torn is dead, and then Clef's obviously just gonna drop. So yeah, 2034. So extremely high up. Still not in the top 8 to qualify, but you know, we're trying. So yeah, there was that, and we're gonna be back with the next games. This one, we got a Rain team. Pretty say difficult matchup. It's kind of like he only has Barraskewda, which Rotom does well, versus it's only really difficult if they have like multiple water types. But yeah, Torn is decent, though he has like Scarf, Lele, and can't kill Lando and one, things like that. Though Scarf card is a huge issue. Leaf Blade just ravages his team. Once I remove the Pharaoh, Clef can win, though if he's a certain Pharaoh set, he's getting in the sea. It's going to be pretty difficult. Rotom is excellent versus Pelipper, Scooter, and Lando. He runs Death Guard against Lele and get rocks up because it's most likely not Defog Pelipper. And Lando is just gonna be there really to prevent the Lucky from doing anything. Though Bandit Earthquake's not that great because he has 2 flying types. So let's get into it. Trying to win with a late game cart as I leave Rotom. He's well versus that with Ferrothorn. Now here I actually don't agree with him staying in and potentially allowing me to burn his Pharaoh, because if I burn his Pharaoh then he can't beat Clef. So pretty questionable play on his part, I think. But he decides to knock as my Heatran is knocked off, which is not the greatest, but I can still get up my rocks, which is nice. So he goes Fire Pelipper and I just get blown away. I've seen his team twice before and I've beat it twice before, and every time the Pelipper was Specs, so I don't even know why I stayed in it. For some reason I blanked on the fact that this was Specs, and I thought that he was just the regular bulky one, and you just go for Scald. I'll be able to Toxic and just wear him down bit by bit. But no, Heatran just dies, which is a pretty shit play because he has a Lele. So you're gonna have to play a bit differently now, as my main psychic answer is gone, which is really bad. So I'll go to Rotom here as just pretty lazy play. I could have just switched honestly into Rotom. Just got really lazy there because I actually have speed EVs on Rotom to outspeed things like Bisharp, so I definitely outspeed Pelipper if it decided to stand on the second turn, just trying to weaken me for Barraskewda, which would have made a lot of sense. So I could have did that there, just, being stupid. With a taunt on the Torn as he knocks me off. I'm not sure how important that is because Torn is like definitely the least useful. He lets me focus blast to Lucky, which doesn't really matter too much. Now here I know the Rapid Spin is coming. I'm in the back, so I kind of have to make a couple plays here. Focus blast again because Air Slash doesn't kill, despite Lucky being very frail. As he goes to early lane Psychics, I can't really switch into anything. I could have thrown out Lando, but I felt like it was better to keep that just for the Intimidate versus Scooter, so that I don't have to throw in Rotom on Lando because I needed it at full actually. So he reveals to be Ironhead, Ferrothorn, which is not the best. It's actually Beast Clef because I don't have enough soft boiled PP versus that. Whereas with Garaball, actually outstall. I don't know why he's complaining about a Leech Seed miss when I'm not under with Clef, so like that doesn't even matter. So Ironheads, I'm trying to beat him down for Kartana. Kind of have to throw away Clef, like trade this so that Kartana can win. So that's what I'm going for here as he soft boiled. I soft boiled as the Ironheads. Soft boiled again. Just to try to get at a better amount of HP to be out of range of like Lele Psychics. Because Scooter I can just go to Cart or Rotom, right? So I don't really care about that too much. Soft boiled again just to get higher up. Start attacking there. Again, just trying to get enough health back so that Lele can just come in and Psychic. The Ironhead spams, Moonblast. Moonblast again, Pharaoh's dead, so great. His Leech Blade answer is dead, Rotom answer is dead. Also Scooter, he didn't have to Liquidation, honestly. He could have just Flip Turn, that was a misplay. Flip Turn always kills him there despite it being a weak move, even with no rain up. You either kill Clef or you get momentum on either Rotom on Cart, as Cart can never Oko Pelipper unless it's banded. So yeah, pretty bad play on his part, I think. I go for the Hydro Pump because it's free. Does allow Lele to come in, which kind of sucks. Though I'm EV to live Psychic from full, so those EVs come into play there as I'm able to live Liquidation into the Psychic because he's Scarf. So that's nice. I'm able to keep an extra sack, and I'm in cut stab range, so that's gonna come into play big later on. So keep my Rotom, go to Kartana off the Volt switch as I Leaf Blade crit Lando. I'm not gonna say it's deserved because he didn't get any real luck versus me, but that helps as I'm able to just speed the game up. Unless he had knock, which he probably did, I wouldn't have stayed in even if I didn't get the crits. So I probably wouldn't have went to my own Lando there because it's the least useful. But yeah, and exploded because it was Okos, guaranteed. And I explode on Pelipper just to knock it out. I go to Rotom on a double down because if I go to Cart, I mean, he probably still expected to win either way because Cart versus Lele, he can still CC and kill me afterward, even if I kill Lele, so it didn't really matter what he went to. So I was going to Barraskewda first though, which is going to cost him because my Rotom just moves first and smokes that Barraskewda with a quick Volt Switch to the face, and he dies. So now Kartana can win the game. This Smart Strike, it doesn't matter what I click. And the crit on Lando was pretty lucky, but I mean, I'll take that. Trying to get these points, and yeah, there it is. We're moving. This is 1900s. Still, already showed the higher up game. Just wanted to get these out the way. So I think this is low punny kicks, forum leader or moderator, something like that. I have no idea what they're called nowadays, but his team is a lot worse than the last guy. I don't mean that in like his team is bad, is that he has multiple water types, which is bad for me. Volcanians, I was told he has like 15 waters. So I had to play perfectly. When I say perfectly, I mean to a T around all of this stuff. Because my sole water resistance Rotom which will just get overwhelmed, which is how rain is supposed to work. So yeah, you have to play very wisely, very wisely around all of that. Though looking at it, I was like, Rotom can pretty much solo his entire team because it still walls the entirety of it. Like Melmetal is always walled by Rotom. Volcanion stabs are walled by Rotom. Same with Seismitoad. Don't want to throw Rotom straight into Toad, but yeah, you get the point. Walls Dragonite too, so Rotom's going to be the MVP. Pretty much just sweeping with that, funnily enough. And yeah, Torn is nice because his only flying resist is Melmetal, which gets either Focus Blasted or walled by Rotom, plus Lando combination, Katana, Leaf Blaze, a threat. If I remove the Melmetal, this Dragonite is well dealt with between Clef and Rotom. Lando is never supposed to be switched into that. Lando's just useless in general because look at his team. What I'm going to do with it is remove the Pelipper so that once his rain runs out, his team is just not as threatening. You guys are going to see what I mean. And then Clef is not doing anything versus Melmetal, Volcanion. Specs, Rain Eruption is way too much, Bash. So just going to throw that out pretty early. Rotom, like I said, can solo by itself. Heat Ran is useless, same as Clef. So really just half my team is trash. So that's the biggest reason why I have to play like perfectly here. So let's get into this one. Again, this is going to be a common theme on my channel, it seems, with the music on. But yeah, let's get into it. I lead with Lando versus Pelipper. I know Pelipper is going to lead off because he wants that rain up ASAP because it just gives him a big advantage. So I'm like, I need to remove this Pelipper. Once I do that and I manage to outstall his rain, I can actually win a lot easier. Not easy, but it'll just be a lot less pressure on things like Rotom to take hits and things like that. So turn 1, I decide to throw Lando to explode on his Pelipper. I can't miss because I don't have Stone Edge anymore. Explosion, Bandit, guarantee knocks him out. No, he wouldn't switch because no real reason to. Like Lando can never Oko Pelipper usually, but I am the ancient band set. Knock out his Pelipper, which is great. So again, if I can manage to outstall his rain, just play wisely, I can pull this off. So he goes to Volcanion Specs, does a shit ton, 60% in rain. Do have a bit of Def EVs, which comes into play. So I don't take much, but I still take way too much at the same time. So this is actually still not that bad for me, as I have Pain Split on this Rotom, which is just amazing. I actually don't run Pain Split on Rotom that much. Usually I run just Wisp or Defog or Scarf even with no Pain Split, but I've been really liking it on Rotom. So I go for the Pain Split, get a pretty good amount of health back there. Whereas the Seismitoad either stays in or goes to Toad there. There's only 2 plays, and the next Steam Eruption won't kill me after the Pain Split, so just the best all-around play. Goes for Weather Ball there as I had to pump. I'm hoping I hit, and I do connect, and I kill the Seismitoad. So one of his Rain Sweepers are dead. I'm up 5-4 versus a Rain team. So that's just fantastic. As he goes to Barraskewda, I can't stay in. I'm not in Custard range yet, so I can't even just surprise kill him. So go to Kartana first just to try and waste his rain. I know I'm taking unnecessary damage with things, but Kart's health is not important because it dies to everything like Melmetal anyway. So I go to Kart, then go to Heatran. As you can see, the rain turns going down. He has 2 left. I go to Clef as I live, and I'm able to retaliate with the Life Orb Moonblast, which almost kills him. The Barraskewda sucks. I go to Liquidation again, and here I go to Torn and just confirm the kill with Air Slash because pretty much can't miss. Don't want to go to Kart and let him go to Melmetal Dragonite and then have to switch again. So that's why I went to Torn there because it's harder to switch into. As what I do here? Oh, I sack Kart because I can't go to Rotom on a Superpower and risk that. I absolutely cannot risk that. And I go to Rotom here and I Pain Split, get more health back. So that's the second time I use that this game. I'm back at 90% as these Superpowers, which is fine. It's really its only play. You can't really switch because something will die to Pain Split plus Volt Switch in Volcanion's case. I go for Volt Switch there, knowing that he won't stay in the second time, and he's at -1, so it's pretty low risk. The Storm won't die to a -1 bash, then I can go back to Rotom and Pain Split again. So it's overall the best play. Once again, also Dragonite here. I believe I taunt just to prevent the Dragon Dance. Then I pull the switch out to Rotom. I know you can't Oko, Torn, or anything, so it's pretty safe to do so. As a T-Wave, catches the stand and just free. He has no Seismitoad's dead, so I can just go for that. I go for Ice Punch, knowing that I'm going to Pain Split so that I can Superpower the next turn, I believe. No, he Ice Punches again. Just trying to keep me low. Superpower doesn't kill anyways, no real point. Go for the Volt Switch to not be in versus Dragonite so that I can taunt it and then potentially beat it with Rotom. So this Ice Punch crit, which matters clearly because it's Torn never dies to that, and I can Air Slash and break his multi-scale, which would have been great and would have sped the game up, but no, just classic stuff. Just gonna have to play a longer game now. I'll go to Rotom here as I Pain Split once again. Just keep spamming Ice Punch, and here I can T-Wave and just hope for Paras. D-Knight can't exactly beat Rotom that quickly because he doesn't have any Dragon moves. They never run Dragon moves, so it's pretty much just going to be a stall fest. I Pain Split a bunch of times. I keep clicking Volt. Then I believe when he gets to full, I Hydro Pump not to waste PP because I don't need Hydro Pump PP versus Dragonite. So he Roost. Keeps just spamming Volt Switch. Should have Hydro Pumped that turn. Doesn't matter too much, but definitely should have Hydro Pumped. Though I still have more Volt Switches than he has Roost, so eventually I'm going to come out on top, bar any weird stuff. I'll go for Hydro Pump there just to break his multi-scale into Volt Switch. T-Wave again just to waste that because I don't need it. Volt Switch again. He Dragon Dances. Yeah, +3, so now at this point he outspeeds. The para doesn't matter at this point. Keep going for Volt Switch. He Roost. Ice Punches does a decent amount because he had +3. There's a lot. And then Volt Switch again. Roost is same stuff. Volt Switch here, as the Ice Punches at level 1%, which is crucial because now because type activates a Volt Switch, outspeed, kill the Dragonite, and that's the game. So yeah, very, very cheap. This Rotom set is just mad cheap. Like, it's stolen so many games for me. So I'm super glad I switched over from Rocky Helmet that I had before. So yeah, pretty fun game. Was able to play wisely around the all these rain mons, and next couple of games we'll be back. All right, guys, we have the last game. Finally, we've reached the end. So this one, same thing. He has just pure offense with Shuckle, which I haven't seen in forever. With Toxtricity, which I also haven't seen. Just Azu, pretty threatening stuff. Fun to play well around it. Though, so Death Trend is a pretty good counter to Toxtricity because it's +1 Drain Punch never kills, and then you just kill back with Earth Power. Como is well answered by Clef, and Rotom's is pretty annoying for him because I have T-Waves, so like Como can't even set up on it if it doesn't have Substitute. But yeah, just looking at it, Torn beats the entirety of his team outside Toxtricity, which I deal well with between Heatran plus Landorus-T. Taunt, like, it's good for a Shuckle, but he probably has Mental Herb. Just Focus Blast, just Flying Move the other two, so pretty much just sweep with that. Torn is always good versus like more slower offenses that don't have something like Dragapult. But yeah, Cortana can actually do it late game. Like I said, Cortana is always amazing versus offense, Scarf in particular. Once I remove Volk, which I already deal well with between Heatran plus Lando never dying in one hit, I can do the late game either Leaf Blade or Smart Strike Sweep. And Defog is actually nice to have. Clef is there to really just only beat Como. Always lives a hit. Even like +2 Flash Cannon. Rotom is there to beat Bisharp because I have speed for that. Heatran beats a large portion, being Tox, Volk. Azu can't even come in for free because I have Lava Plume, so if I burn it, it's useless. And it'll never sweep because Cortana always checks that. And Landorus has no ground immunity, like no ground resist whatsoever, so Bandit EQ is gonna kill somebody every time. So yeah, there's that. Just hop straight into the game. Again, we gotta end it with the music on. So I lead with Torn, I think. Yeah, just in case he's not Mental Earth Shuckle, which I probably knew he was, just in case. I want to get that taunt off, because if I can prevent rocks, that's just amazing for me. As I go to Lando, because it's just the best positionally, because I know you go to Toxicity. So if I double taunt, like just in a bad spot, now y'all got to kill. Go for EQ. Just destroy the Shuckle completely. I think that was Fizz Death too, so I took it so well. Go for EQ again, because I think Moonblast still kills even after the Spadef boost, but just wanted to make sure. And put him in range of Heatran, so we can even switch in on that later on. So I thought Torn actually, because I didn't want to risk Clef on Flash Cannon. Everything else is kind of better than Torn, because Toxicity isn't gone yet, so just having everything else is just better, just defensively versus team. So go to Clef, hoping I live, which I do, and I'm able to knock him out with the Moonblast. He goes to Bisharp. Life Orb Moonblast still going to do a ton to this, to the point where he's in range of Rotom, so I'm fine with that. But he gets a Defiant boost, which sucks, and I have to play around him if he decides to suck a Rotom, expecting me to be faster. So let's give him Clef, I don't need it anymore. Go for Volt Switch, confident he wouldn't suck a punch, because Rotom typically don't run speed. Fast Rotom, and I mean timid, is not great, like just don't use that. No, the Rotom with speed is nice, just with bold, just to outspeed things like this. So I'm able to outspeed him, knock him out with the Volt, and I'll go to Lando, because it beats the rest, beside Volt, because I can die to Fire Blast. So just pivot straight to Heatran, knowing that this is the only way he can kill me. I have no reason to rocks, I don't need them up. To go for Lava Plume in case he decides to hard Azu. Either way, this is going to be beaten by Kartana regardless. So yeah, go to Cart there on the knock. I'd rather not be scarfed. And here I'll go for Defog, because it's just the best play. If he goes hard Volk, I don't want to attack into that. And Rocks Gone means I can just switch between everything as I so please. So goes to Toxicity as he shift gears. I know that nothing he can do can kill Tran, so like even if he drain punches, it's not enough to put me in range of Volk. So yeah, he just forfeits there, knowing that Azu's burned, so it's just over. And yeah, admittedly, OLT is not one of my favorite tournaments. I'm just not a fan of having to sign up and just play cycle after cycle, pretty much wait a whole month to play for a tournament. I just don't like that very much. I like being able to sign up just for things instantly and have my opponents week by week, and just preparing and things like that. That's the fun part of Mons for me. I don't like this. I don't like how people just use nothing but skillless teams to qualify. Like, you don't need to be good to qualify, which I think a lot of people don't understand. Like in OLT, you don't need to be good. Like a lot of unknown people have qualified for this just using dumb stuff. And yeah, like I just don't like this tournament really. This is very stressful, just mentally. Plenty of times I've tilted from 1700 and had to claw my way back all the way from, out of the slums to 2000s, and still didn't make it. I was like number 9 at one point, not number 9 on the ladder, but like as far as the other people that were qualified, I was under them just by 1. So if I managed to win a couple, I actually could have qualified myself, but I didn't for the second year in a row. But mark my words, when the new games come out, I think in November, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm definitely gonna have some type of trophy under my belt, and I'm gonna qualify for OLT next year because I'm taking all the right steps. Clearly, if I made it this far every single time. The problem last year was that I decided to stop. Like I got to like 1900, like top 30, and I decided to just not keep going. And this year, I took no breaks. I actually decided to, motivated myself, just kept the energy up to keep this going, even when I tilted. Not only for myself, but for you guys as well, to show that this, it's not as difficult as it looks. It's just a matter of the mindset. And yeah, like just taking all the right steps, put in all the work I feel to make it to this point. Like, if I can go even with people like ABR, Finch, Joey, and Tess, or better than just, I know I'm doing the right things. I feel like I'm better than a lot of people, just building wise, playing wise. Like I've reached a level that most people can't even fathom reaching at this game. Just, you guys have seen it. The proof is on my whole channel, from my World Cup games, my OST run. You've seen it all. My progress, and I don't mean progress as in I'm some type of new player or some shit. I'm not gonna pretend I'm haven't been playing this game that long. We're playing for a long time. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, but playing for a long time doesn't mean anything, in the sense that you can still be bad. You could be playing for 10 plus years and still be god awful. But like I said, I put in the required amount of work and things like that. It's just that one breakthrough I need to figure out, and then I'm just dominating from there. I've been dominating anyway, consistently in tournaments this year, and I've just been showing that repeatedly from all my runs. In World Cup, you guys saw, like, the only reason my opponents even had a chance because they, you know, pulled certain things. There's all this luck, you know, so without that, you know. But yeah, I'm not sure what other tournaments want to do from here. I think there's something called LCL coming up, and other things, but a bit drained from Mons at the moment. Not entirely, but yeah. But yeah, man, just looking to keep doing what I'm doing. Just want to do well, really. Like, I have so many things I want to do in this game. Just enjoy this game a lot, and just want to be successful at it. And I reached a level, like I said, that I feel like I should be rewarded for that. Man, I'm not sure what else I wanted to say. I forgot, because I don't script this stuff. I just say what I think. Yeah, OLT is really just a cheese fest. Just yeah, you guys have seen it. Doesn't really take actual skill to get to the top. Like, if I really wanted to, I could just throw honor out the window completely, and just next year just use a bunch of stall, like everybody else did, and just get to the top that way. Yeah, OLT is just grueling, man. Just imagine having to wait all that time to qualify, and you get there, and then round one goes up, and then you lose round one. So you basically wasted all that time for nothing. Not for nothing, like, you still get the experience, but you just lost anyway. So yeah, definitely not my favorite tournament. I'm not gonna do this once I qualify once, likely. It's just extremely annoying. It takes so much time away. Like, the thing is, like, I didn't use that much time beside, like, the last couple of days, which was like the 7th and the 8th. I took no breaks. Like last year, I took days breaks in between, which I didn't. I only took breaks when I lost like 2 in a row or something, and I kept going like an hour later. Yeah, like, I played like 11 games in like the lower parts, and as I got higher up, if I jumped to like 19, 2000s, I'd stop for the day. But I had no choice the last 2 days, because I was just trying to make it if I could. But yeah, it was just rough. Just a lot of bullshit I had to deal with throughout this. But I think that's pretty much all I have to say. It's a very long video. Probably not going to do something like this ever again. But I just wanted to show all of this stuff to get all my thoughts out there. But yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed this. And not sure when I'm going to be back. But yeah, it's a very long video. It's gonna take a it's gonna take a shitload of time to edit and things like that. But yeah, just see you guys next time, and peace.